a bunch of people finally said, we'll take care of your little crybabies. They just, this is a lot of stress. Unless you're a god. This stuff is really scary. Unless you're something really massive. It's kind of beyond human shit, man. And yeah, I get that. So I was just grateful they're going to take care of the crybabies. I don't stress because I have my husband's, but I can't let my life start to diminish. So I have to keep going forward where everything has to die unlimited per spec until I am the holy sacred shrine nobody can even look at. It's just the process of the whole thing, and you can't change any of it. But it's really scary stuff. But I'm not stressed. I have husbands out there. They're not going to let me ultimately fall. And I have monumental gods that worship and love me. They're not going to ultimately let me fall. And then I've had to carry my own death all along. I have a billion things in place to carry my death, carry my powers, carry my resurrection, carry everything to make sure things go as good as possible when it should go good, or as bad as possible when it should go bad. So, you just kind of gotta let life play out. But every choice is really that important. And a bunch of husbands just want to bellyache and bitch because they don't want one decision they make to be so god-awful, life or death forever important. But that's what happens when a god is murdered on a planet and a god's around and things are very tumultuous. As a husband, they really should just let me kind of guide them. Because it's hard to just jump up, say I married a ghost, now I'm going to work with gods, now I'm going to be perfect at something that's really, really spiritually very difficult and scary. But instead they want bellyache and cry and scream at me and bitch. And I get it, they've got a PhD on that screaming. They're really good at that shit. But it's not going to help any of us. And I need to get this tooth taken care of. You can't stress for a buck when you got a toothache and shit, man. It's miserable. And I already go through enough dead misery. So thank you to everybody watching over the husbands that can't take life right now. But at least they give a shit. So hey, we're getting farther than ever. But so I'm gonna go this tooth thing. I figure at best I'll probably just get an x-ray. You probably have to go back for the actual work. But I'll see if I can get anything for pain or some Tylenol things, or I don't know, see if they have a prescription that's better than Tylenol. So I just don't have to care and I can keep trying to struggle for a buck. But since I'm actively just looking for work, I figured maybe I should apply for welfare. Because a lot of children of God are like, that's why I don't apply for welfare, because I have kind of a newer car and then I lost my home. Well, that's handy. I lost my home because they stole all my money, but it's kind of the same. I have a newer car. They made sure I didn't have enough money to pay my bills and had to leave the home I had. But did I let them take the home because I don't like the heat and I planned on leaving the area anyway? Do I use or try to maneuver the power of God so that the United States of Dubai can get rid of my home and make my life a catastrophic nightmare when it doesn't really matter that much to me? Maybe. But you gotta put on a good show and you gotta lose everything and do the devastational blah blah so they fucking feel like god giant weirdo murder happy weirdos and shit. But did I really care? No, I don't want to be here in the summer. I'm not good at the summer. I came out here when I was younger, and I guess I must have stayed in the air conditioning too much or something. I didn't realize that I don't like the summer. I can't handle it. So once I went into that dilapidated trailer that they forced me to rent to own, and I had to actually sleep outside in super bad heat until I dumped melting ice on me just to be able to sleep a little bit. I realized I'm not good at the heat or the deserts, and I already know that they'll put me in a bad predicament in 2 seconds if they can, but they're pretty much running out of options. But still, in a second, they'd put me in any bad predicament. So it's like, you almost want to stay kind of poor and stupid, because no matter what the United States and Dubai do to smack you down, you're already kind of at the bottom of the barrel anyway. I would be happy with just basic enough money from a husband to pay my bills and sit around and laugh at the demise of these countries doing this and shit. But like, nobody's ever going to make life easy. And I get that. So I guess I'll try to apply for welfare, because a lot of children of God have told me that they don't apply for welfare because their car is newer and they don't know if they'd ever get food stamps or anything else. I'm going to go try and I'll tell you what they say. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any idea. The last time I applied for any welfare food stamps, I had a different car that was really cheap every month. So I don't know. So I thought, I'll go do this tooth thing. And then if you guys want, I'll go do the welfare food stamps thing. I mean, I'm not above or beneath anything. I'm just a dead god for the bigger agenda down here. But like, I don't really care any which way. A job is just a job. I'm a god. I would much rather find a company that is 100% mine with my powers, get a job with a company 100% my powers, and fucking rock and roll unrealistically with that shit and show them what a massive dead god really is. But the United States and Dubai won't let me talk to anybody as soon as they realize that they're people that have my powers. So the United States and Dubai do everything and anything to keep these husbands away from me, because they're my invincible powers, and that would help out everything around me a lot more. So, I mean, would it be nice? Would it be really luxury nice to get a bunch of husbands to just walk in here and say, fuck this, here's some money right now? Yeah. And then would it be really nice to get a company to walk up to me and say, I'm a husband, or I belong to you and only you because I always loved and worshiped you the most. So go into my company with this job and show me how your powers take over. And if your powers make my whole company better, I don't care that you have some dumb job as long as you're good enough at doing it. Would I want all those options? Yeah. And the United States and Dubai are sitting on top of everything, trying to make sure those options don't happen. This is just the fight and the fight and the fight until it all breaks free and breaks loose. Now, I have guaranteed safety for the ones that always loved and worshipped me and are completely backed by my powers. I won't even let them make a choice, so they don't make a choice that fucks up and gets themselves in danger, just to live up to guaranteeing safety, to bring myself the things I need to be the dead god I need to be. But like I said, I'm going to give it 3 days and see what happens. If nobody will use my invincible powers and the fact that they always loved and worshipped me to bring me options, they might be bad now or too afraid. And I don't know what to say after that. As a dead god, you can only max out all the options you got, But like, these are 2 murder happy countries and a lot of big fucking gross nightmares and a bunch of gods that murdered backing everything because they have nothing to lose anymore either. They're all dead for doing it. It's just a knockdown drag out, man. You gotta hope the best sides win. But I'll put out a plea. One more video of a plea. Any and all husbands that are 100% all mine, and you can find out through my queen, or just Bonnie Annika, am I a 100% all yours? Then I can walk you through the guarantee that you can come here, bring me money or anything without any danger. And you're not going to have freedom of choice either, though, so that you don't make a bad choice, fuck up, and end up in danger, and then it fucks up everything. And then I would bring you safely to bring me something and just make sure you made it safely back. Other than that, I don't know. It's just going to go how it goes, I guess. And also, if you guys belong to me and only me, but you're not a husband, you're like a nun equivalent or whatever, a wise man disciple equivalent, and you belong 100% just to me. You can say I have a company, and my 100% all yours belong to you. if I say yes, and I can guarantee your safety and your protection away from the United States to buy, so that you can just provide a blank job, and as long as I do the job good enough, that's good enough, then my promise would be that if you belong to only me, I could take your whole company and revolutionize the existence of your company while I'm just working there. Another reason I was thinking of going to welfare, because I got on food stamps years ago, and I turned wealthy people out of welfare recipients and shit. So I got on welfare. I got on welfare years back. I don't remember which year, but and I was not even resurrected. And my powers, what powers I had applying for welfare, made welfare people wealthy. So it would be kind of cool to go apply for welfare. I don't really care. But like with a newer car, I don't know if they'll just say no, but like I'll try. I mean, I don't know. Don't have much except my ID and a wing and a prayer, man. All I can do is tell people what my powers will do to benefit their lives, provide guaranteed safety. Other than that, I have to win all by myself. So for children of God really worried about my existence, as of today, resurrecting and taking care of myself and being safe and protected in and of myself, I'm about 74% there. So in my resurrection, so I go through a resurrection process. In my resurrection process, my death is rebuilt into perfect, pure, good, holy sacredness. Then is the consequence that no one's even allowed to look at me. So all these punishments, like a big, scary black cloud, start to just flood into souls until nothing ever gets near me again. And then at that point, I'd be perfectly safe and spoiled. Perfectly able to go to my own island, get my own money, do my own things. Remember when Jesus put a coin inside of a fish? And some bastard connected to the government was like, you have to pay your taxes like everybody. And they do that to me. I'm behind in my taxes. I never even knew how to do taxes. God's always helped me do taxes. I'm behind in my taxes because I don't want to file taxes, because I filed taxes where I didn't even survive that year and they made me owe taxes. So I was like, if I'm going to file my taxes, I didn't even survive, and I'm like, I have nothing, and you're going to tell me I owe taxes, I'm not going to keep doing it, because like, I don't have any money, I don't have anything. So I quit doing my taxes. So they harp and bitch, but it's like, well, then I'm going to add it to the fight of good and bad. But when the government was bitching at Jesus, you still have to pay your taxes, blah, blah, blah. And then Jesus was like, you know what? Okay, whatever. And he had the fish swim up and open the fish's mouth, and he pulled out a coin that was more than all taxes he could possibly owe ever anyway, and threw the coin at the guy and then said, there you go. That basic right to be the wealth of heaven, I've had to earn from zero. I sacrificed myself so Jesus just had that right. Jesus didn't fight against bad from zero. And Jesus wasn't fighting against all bad things once for all. Jesus got murdered. But Jesus came down from heaven to just come to earth and do spiritual things on earth that would make it so that dead people could get to heaven again, because Adam and Eve had brought in murder and bad things, making death and dead ghosts unable to get to heaven. And Jesus was just going to fly down to earth, be amazing for good people, and make sure the dead could get to heaven. But shitty, sickening humanity wanted him murdered and shit, and it became all these fucking drama overloaded things. He wasn't an ultimate savior against all bad and stuff. He just had to say fuck you to bad because they had opened the door. When bad, evil forces convince a world to try to murder Jesus, now the battle of good against bad has been opened. Now bad, evil forces can try to get Jesus to fail or lose. And then ghosts won't go to heaven. The alive won't go to heaven, and Jesus wouldn't have gotten back to heaven if he didn't pass every test of bad, evil forces against him. That was just his right to still prove he was holy, sacred, good, and could get back home. And it ended bad, evil forces trying to do bad things against him, heavens, and that planet. Well, this planet. But those evil forces had to die and pay it all back when they didn't win against Jesus. But it wasn't the ultimate fight of all things bad against all things good once and for all. That's this one. That's why it's so big, it's so scary, it's so massive, it's so overwhelming. Everything determines everything, and it's scary, especially when people are murdering gods and shit. And I get the husband's freaking out, but like, it's not going to help us win by freaking out. I need to keep my life stable enough, because the more that happens bad to my holy sacred existence, the more it just brings death unlimited and shit you don't even want to understand or deal with. So I'm trying the best with what I got here, people. I've never been anything but a very honest, candid, dead God. I have been honest with the children of God and more, and I've come straight out of just death that did not want to exist to everywhere I have gotten so far. All I can do is be honest with people, because like, there is nothing else. If anybody can help me, thank you. If anybody will rely on my powers, thank you. It would be really fun to rock and roll with my powers in a company and have just a job where I'm good enough at the job as a weird dead God, and I can use my powers to rock and roll the company. But it would have to be a company that was always mine, because everything is something against me all the time down here. And that affects my powers from rocking and rolling. Everything, every bad manager, abusive manager, everything bad you do in a company destroys the ability of good gods to be powerful and productive. Bad destroys and kills and leads to hells and shit. And good flies and goes to good places. And there is nothing else. There never will be. But I understand. Every choice, when you have to watch every choice, it's scary. When you have to go through this stuff, it's very scary. When murder-happy weirdo countries exist, it gets very scary. If there's anything else you guys can think of that you guys think I should put on videos, let me know. If I can get on welfare, I'll let you guys know if I go to the welfare